Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Katherine.Kelly, and I want to bring more information to you about awakening and what that means for our soul, what that means for our soul's development, what that means for our growth and our healing. And I want to link this together for you because when a person goes through some sort of an awakening, now in the last video I did, I talked about micro awakenings and macro awakenings, meaning little aha moments all the way up to, oh my gosh, wow, I didn't know that this part of the world existed, or I didn't know this about me. But when I talk about those micro or macro types of awakenings, they are all opportunities for growth, but there are always also opportunities for healing in some way. And to me, healing equals growth. So so when you think about when you are going through a healing process, if you can conceptualize it as every time you learn something about yourself, and every time you put two and two together, whether it's about, wow, this is how I developed this mindset, this is how I developed this pattern, this is how I developed this deeply ingrained idea about myself for the world. Once you have that awakening, once you put those things together, it is a form of an awakening. And so when I'm doing therapy, I'm actually watching awakening after awakening after awakening for those who are very dedicated to their work and very interested in their evolution and in their growth. Now, sometimes that happens for a long time over time. And sometimes people have these rapid fire kinds of awakenings to the point where they put enough together where they feel like, okay, I've healed what I need to heal for right now. They take a break from therapy or from soul healing, and then they come back later. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is that we do grow in layers. We grow and heal in layers. So when you think about, I took a lot of geology when I was in undergrad. I love rocks. I love the earth for lots of reasons. But, we were really taught about the different layers, the different layers of the earth and what they meant as far as the points in time. You can look at the Grand Canyon, you can see these. I think there's like 30 some layers of stone that you can really see the different layers. If you're at the bottom of the canyon, you can see all of these layers going up. It is the same thing with our soul. It's that we have so many layers of things to look at, things to work through, things that have stacked up over time, because our souls, again, to me, our souls go on in previous lifetimes and future lifetimes. So we have a lot that can stack up. When I am working with clients and they put something together that they're like, oh my gosh, that's why that happens, or that's how I have this trigger, this emotional trigger, it is like a micro awakening. So healing is so related to almost a conscious effort to have awakening so that you can heal and so that you can rise above those many layers, but that you can also peel away those many layers. So another analogy that I use, and I used this years ago with someone and we kind of laughed about it, and I ended up just using it again last week sometime, and I've used it since, is the whole idea of healing. Once you heal one thing, well, then there's another thing that comes up that you're like, dang, I thought I was done. I thought I was done healing. I thought I was done growing. Well, the point is, and the analogy I used is like life is like a Pez dispenser. Those little candy dispensers that you flip the little top back, the head back, and it pushes out a little Pez candy. You chew it up, you digest it, and then what do? You want another one. So you flip that top again. Life is like a Pez dispenser. And because once we heal one layer of something, our soul wants us to push something else to the surface so we can heal the next thing. Because our soul really wants to be squeaky clean. Our soul wants to have that stuff figured out and taken off of us. And this book that I'm about to put out is called Depression: Treating Body, Mind, and Soul. And I really conceptualize depression as suppression of the soul, that there are so many layers, excuse me, of things that are piled up on us that our soul feels suppressed. Now, I'll talk about that in other videos as far as that book. But just like that Pez dispenser of life, our soul wants us to get to the bottom of what is really on us, what is really triggering us, what is keeping us from being who we are supposed to be, and what is keeping us from really shining our light and embodying who we are really as a soul. And years ago, I'm going to say 15, maybe almost 20 years ago, a client of mine asked at the end of a session, what do I think all humans on this planet are trying to achieve? And I said, to find their truth and keep it. And if you look at the human condition, we have so many layers of things that keep us away from being our truth or challenge us to be in our truth, speaking up, speaking our truth, living as we really are, living authentically. The human condition is very challenging for us to be our authentic souls. But that's the whole point, is that we need the challenge in order to get to know ourselves. And we need the challenge in order to peel away those layers that don't fit. We have to be aware of what doesn't fit in order for us to really align with what does. And it's that alignment that aligns us with our soul. And so that's the entire reason that I created my soul health model with the picture of the tree with the 10 branches, is that we are constantly as humans battling different parts of the human condition, but it is all for the sake of our soul's evolution. So when you think about awakenings, and any time you have an awakening, you have a consciousness, you have something that, again, you put two and two together to go, oh, wow, that's what made me upset, or that's what triggered me, or wow, that happened way back then, but it's still triggering me now. Those little awakenings that you have, those dots that you connect, are all part of the successive evolution. In other words, that Pez dispenser, but it's the successive evolution of figuring ourselves out so we can be in our truth, so we can shine our light, we can align our life, and then we can get back to that natural state of the soul, which is joy and contentment. So this is where we have to look back at all of those things that wounded us, hurt us, triggered us, upset us, betrayed us, whatever it might be, and look at how did that impact our soul? How did that suppress us? How did that change the course of who we are? How did that change the course of our lives? We have to look through those things in order to have those little aha moments or big aha moments, in order to get those layers peeled off and for us to really dismantle the ones that are no longer helpful to us, and also construct a better path for ourselves. So this is very, very much why awakenings are important to pay attention to. Excuse me. Because if we don't pay attention to those aha moments, if we don't embrace and open up to what we're supposed to be aware of, we're never going to grow. We're never going to evolve. Excuse me. Sorry about this. Someone else asked me, a colleague of mine asked me probably 15 years ago, it was probably 15 years ago, how many people on this planet, I think, are consciously working on their stuff? And wow, that was a big question. We were sitting there at lunch and she asked me that. And I paused and I said to her, you know, I hate to say it, but I think less than 5% are consciously, actively working on their stuff. Now, I think that's increased since then, honestly. I do think more people are interested in working on their stuff. I think they're working on being more conscious. Do I think the vast majority of adults on this planet are? No, unfortunately. But that is also why a lot of these serious things in the world are happening right now. You know, as I'm recording this video, we have Hurricane Debbie moving through, and I keep glancing out because I have very large trees around my house. And I'm very, very conscious and aware that that would change the course of my life if one of these trees fell. I'm very aware that the storm has already moved many hundreds of miles and upset people's lives. And in some ways, many of those people are going to awaken to something new. They're going to awaken to some understanding of maybe paying more attention to each other and loving and appreciating each other more. Others are going to have other kinds of awakenings. So we have natural disasters, we have accidents that can happen, we have health issues that can happen, we have sudden breakups, we have really anything can happen to awaken us. But that's why, again, as a therapist, as a psychologist, I try to help people make meaning of those events so that they can really embrace and embody whatever they're supposed to learn in that moment, take off one or two or more of those layers, and really integrate who they are through those awakenings. So I actually am very blessed and honored when I work with people, because as I watch people have those awakenings, I know they're going to grow. I know they're going to evolve. And I get to be sort of a conduit or an agent in helping them do that. Now, think about this. Think about all of the things that you've had go on in your life that have been a pain in the wazoo, or very upsetting, or very sad, or maybe a death in the family, something that has really gotten you, but then something good came out of it, something, some new awareness, some new kind of understanding of life came out of it. And if you can open up to the difficulties in life as being part of this, it is going to help you evolve. It's going to help that Pez dispenser get to a different place where you have control over when and how you learn. And it's not going to be so much about something happening to you, it's going to be something happening for you. So, this is conscious evolution at work. This is how this stuff works. This is how soul evolution works. This is how growth works. And when people are doing their work, and people have asked me what that means. To me, doing their work just means looking at their lives and looking at how to apply that meaning and make a difference in your life moving forward by understanding it. That is conscious evolution, and that is what our soul is here to do. So think of those Pez dispensers. Think of every time you heal something, there's going to be another layer. There's going to be another layer. There's going to be another layer. And so it's like that little, never ending conscious little Pez dispenser that's spitting out candies at you. It's that whole idea is we're supposed to take those little candies of life and chew them up and digest them and understand them and integrate them and then go on to the next one. That is evolution. And that's why I get so excited about helping people. So I hope this all makes sense why awakenings are so important and why it is part of our healing and our soul's evolution. I would love to hear your comments. Whenever I bring up this Pez dispenser thing to clients, they just laugh, but they're like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. Because healing is hard, it's difficult, it takes effort, it's exhausting. And so when you get through one layer, you're thinking, oh gosh, I'm so grateful, I'm done. No, you're not done. There's going to be another layer, and then there's going to be another layer. So it's a beautiful thing if you can just embrace it. And awakenings are a wonderful part. It's really a wonderful gift of your soul's evolution. So hope this all made sense. I hope you can take this and chew on it a little bit and digest it yourself. And more information coming. This is what I love to do. I love to bring that ancient wisdom to the modern soul so you can understand how this soul thing works and how you can put it to work in your life. So light and love to all of you. Have a wonderful day, and I will be back soon. Take care.